All right. Hello and welcome to this latest edition of Bulls on Parade Talk. I'm your host, Joshua Sines, bringing you the latest in Houston Texans coverage. Before we get started, guys, I encourage you all that are listening and or watching to join me in today's conversation. The way you can do so is by calling the following phone number, 724-444-7444. Once you dial in, you can go ahead and enter the call ID for this series, which is 131026, followed by the pound key. Again, that's 131026 pound. So give my show a call and let your voice be heard, especially today. Especially today because, wow, what a round one. And that's what we're talking about today. We are going to be reviewing the first round of the NFL draft and what we might see in the later rounds, particularly round 2 and 3, because I have a feeling that is where most of the attention for the Texans specifically is going to be on today. So, guys, and before we get to the topic, in case you don't freak out, the screen, do not adjust your set. The screen is exactly how it's supposed to. You notice it's a little different. I had a little trouble earlier with my other software, so I'm getting that fixed. As a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking of using this kind of format, this type of screen for future live episodes. And what I might do is I might do other episodes that are pre-recorded and then upload them later. So that's what all this is about. And this is with a new camera. So again, this is an HD camera. So of course, combining the software I used before with this camera is a little dicey at the moment. So for the time being, for the testing purposes of this new camera, I'll be using this format. So, and this is all that you'll be seeing of me. This is all you'll be seeing with live portions. And once I get more people onto this panel, which I'm working on currently, you'll see them as well. And that's what I'm thinking of doing. That's what I'm thinking of doing with live episodes. Now, I might do. So there might be other episodes where I might want to use like other pictures or other animations or something that I want to analyze myself, and I'll do them pre-recorded. And all that'll get situated, particularly before the NFL season, because I have a lot of different features I want to try for the NFL season, particularly now that I made an investment in NFL Game Rewind. So I'm now able to go back and watch some tape. Some NFL game coaches tape all the way back to 2009, and I also get access to this upcoming season's coaches tape. So I'm definitely going to have quite a bit to analyze for the future. I'm looking forward to all of that. But anyway, guys, let's get to the topic. Wow. So for the NFL draft, for the first round of the NFL draft, last night I was at Facebook. I was at a watch party that a Facebook Texans fan group organized right here in the city of Houston. Shout out to those people, by the way. Had a great time, especially to Mr. Michael Smith. Guy is great. He may be a big Mansell maniac, but he is also a very nice guy. Very nice guy. And I think to the Facebook group called Let's Talk Texans, big shout out to them. Had a great time, and I'm looking forward to our next event. So, speaking of the first round, after months and months of speculation, and I added the extra month because an extra month was added to the evaluation. We had more time to look at these prospects or to just keep speculating. It's going to be this guy. It's going to be that guy. It's going to be this guy. It's going to be that guy. So the biggest question, is it going to be Clowney? Is it going to be Mac? Or are we going to trade the pick? there were rumors saying we were going to trade the pick or somewhat. But at around 7:15 p.m. Central Time, the commissioner took the stage and announced our first overall pick. Quote, with the first pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jadeveon Clowney, defensive end, South Carolina. And I swear the whole place, except for one guy, the Manziel Maniac in the group, erupted. Because we were so excited, including me. We were so excited. I'm so excited to have this guy here. And I just finished watching his press conference with Bill O'Brien and Rick Smith. I was stoked. I was so excited. Talk about a difference maker. And J.J. Watt's already been in contact with him. Jonathan Joseph knows him very well. You know, Romeo Cornell and the defensive coaches cannot wait to get their hands on this guy. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be an exciting day. And I cannot wait to see this guy at practice. I'm going to try and attend one of those open practices late in training camp. No, I don't know anything about that because I want to bring you guys as much content as possible on the YouTube channel. I want to be able to show you guys as much content as possible. And, of course, to all of you on the podcast as well, I want to be able to share as much information. And speaking of the podcast, I have a caller. I will get to you in just a bit. Actually, you know what? Now that I've addressed the number one overall pick with the Houston Texans, which is basically the talk that I'm going to get to in a bit. Let's hear what this. Let's hear. I got a caller here from. It doesn't say what city, but it just says Texas. Here you are. You are on Bulls on Parade Talk. How's it going?
Yes. How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah. What was the question again?
Oh no, I just basically announced the number one overall pick was Jadeveon Clowney. What do you think?
Man, I think it's great. Anticipated that they was going to get him if they get his number one pick, and I think he's going to help out the defense quite a bit, help out J.J. Watt with the pass rush,
Yep.
which also helps out the secondary, as well as since he can play both defensive and linebacker, he can also be on coverage.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's a good pick in building the defense because we have to have a strong defense if we want to go further into the playoffs and championship. And now we just focus on quarterback, that consistent system that O'Brien is going to run,
Right.
as well as some other pieces that need to be filled in, such as offensive tackle and receiver, whatever they need on that offense to continue to move forward.
Yep, and I'm gonna back soon after I go through the first round. So really quick, if you had to pick one, what do you think we're gonna do with the 33rd overall pick, the first pick in the second round?
Well, I figured they were going to pick the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Borders was taken, I thought Borders was going to be up, and I also thought Manziel would be up. I'm looking at, my question is, are they looking at Derek Carr, are they looking at McCarron, or are they looking at a quarterback out of Penn State that O'Brien may like to work with?
See,
what do you think on that?
See, and I'm going to address that. I'll answer the question like this. They are definitely considering Derek Carr, from what I'm hearing, but they are also open to trading that 33rd overall pick. You know, another.
You think they're going to trade that pick to the Patriots for Ryan Mallett?
Ooh, I have not heard that. That is a good point. That is a good point. I don't know. That I would not. The thing is, second round pick for Ryan Mallett. I suppose it might be possible, but that would leave New England in a dilemma in terms of finding a backup for Tom Brady. That's the only thing I would argue with them, because I'm not sure if they want to trade Ryan Mallett. That's the only issue.
Right.
But
right. I see what you're saying?
Yep.
I never thought about the fact that New England did not want to. I thought that they were probably willing to, if based on what kind of trade they wouldn't offer
Yep.
to New England, because you know in New England they don't really need superstars to win.
Oh no.
They take whatever they have and they develop them to win. So I could see New England getting a quarterback out of the draft and put them in there behind Brady, just like they do in the other position that they have.
Yep. Possibility is too is if they do trade Ryan Mallett, they could draft a quarterback. That might shake up the draft. That might really shake up the draft. So.
Right. And I see them picking a quarterback with the third pick, whether they use it to trade or not. I see them picking a quarterback, whether it's left out of the quarterback sitting there. Well, my question is, if they do get this quarterback, and for some reason they do trade for Ryan Mallett, does this mean this is going to be the end for Yates and Keenan, knowing they're going to have 5 quarterbacks on the roster?
Yeah. My initial response is T.J. Yates is probably going to end up in Baltimore. That's my guess, because I even had someone at the draft party I was at last night say, "Oh, T.J. Yates is going to be on the practice squad." I'm like, practice squad? Do you not know his resume? He's the guy that was behind center when the Texans were in the playoffs for the first time. I do not see him going on the practice squad.
I don't see either Yates nor Keenan on the practice squad. After they've gotten opportunities to get experience to play, I don't see them guys on nobody's practice squad. I see them guys as a backup or a third stringer. And with the Texans now in the league, you can carry 2 quarterbacks and have your third guy on the practice squad, which could be what the Texans could do, because that's what Keenan started off with. At the practice squad, they only had, Matt Sharp and Yates already, but if they only want to carry 2 quarterbacks, it looks like it's going to be Fitzpatrick, Mallett, and this guy that they drafted on the practice squad and have Keenan as a third stringer, if they want to do it that way. But a lot of times they may not carry 4 quarterbacks, and they go on for extra players in another position that they could use.
Yep, and I'm on record saying whoever we draft, I don't think he's ready to start at the moment.
You're right. I don't believe that whoever rookie they get, they're going to have any confidence in starting. And I don't think whoever they get, I don't have confidence they're going to be the franchise quarterback that O'Brien wants to use as long as he's proven here. I'm thinking that they have not found that guy that they wanted yet, because I don't see much confidence in him starting. Right now, if you look at what he's not looking to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're looking at Chad Higgins to start. So I wonder if any of these quarterbacks are going to start at all. Any of the teams that they're drafting.
Yeah, and like I said, the ones I'm on record saying only guy I think who's remotely ready is Teddy Bridgewater, and he went to probably the best place he could possibly go.
I think he has the best chance of starting, knowing that Minnesota has a lot of quarterback controversy last year with Matt Castle and Christian Ponder. So Teddy Bridgewater may have the best opportunity to start.
Yep.
For his team. But hopefully these teams realize, like Russell Wilson coming out and late in the draft, that they should have some confidence in who they draft, because they'll tell them what they may have that they don't know.
Yep. You can also make an argument that Johnny Manziel is in an okay situation. He has offensive weapons. He's got a defense. All they need is a running game and strong running game and a solid offensive line. And you can make a case that whoever starts at that in Cleveland, whether it's Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, or anyone else that they get, they could be in a good position despite the division that they're in, with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore that are filled with a lot of hard hitters. And I worry about that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Johnny Manziel, because I believe that Cleveland has done a great job this offseason and who they get their coaching staff and who they select in the free agency. And right now with Peter Manziel, as we see right now, I thought they was going to get Derek Carr, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
With Johnny Manziel, there's him, Hoyer, Vince Young, and those four quarterbacks. I think the three they're going to be looking at will be Hoyer, Manziel, and Vince Young, which it may end up with Hoyer and Manziel competing for the starting position.
Yep. And
with Kyle Shanahan being offensive coordinator, I'm sure they're going to have a pretty good offense because the same offense that he ran with Matt Schaub was here, which led Matt Schaub to a Pro Bowl. And so I have confidence that Shanahan is going to do pretty well with the offense. They do need another running back. I don't know who the backup is. I know Chris Lapiana, they used to play for the Texans, was one their running back, but
Ben Tate. Ben Tate is their running back. They got Ben Tate.
Yeah, he's a starter running back now, but I know last year they had Chris Lapiana that was running. They used to play for the Texans too, and went to University of Texas. But my thing is with Ben Tate is that he was a good running back.
Yep.
But he did have some injuries that kept him from starting.
Yeah.
And they just need some depth just in case that happens again. I think any position needs some depth in case of injuries, but injuries always happen unexpectedly in this league. And their defense is very strong. They got a good head coach who's a defensive-minded coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Cleveland Browns is going to be a competitive team in their division. But they have to grow and stay strong because Baltimore is growing and get a strong. You see Quebec's offensive coordinator there, and knowing that he's running that same zone offense that Cleveland has to stop, along with their running back and two tight ends with Owen Daniels and Peter, and receivers with Torrey Smith, Steve Smith, and Dakota Jones.
Yep.
They do got some competition they're going to have to compete with, with the Ravens and the Bengals with one of the best players on rosters in the league in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
So I think Cleveland's going to be a competitive team to deal with. Now, I think they've done a good job in all season and in the free agency and stuff. So I'm looking for Manziel to have a pretty big season with them.
We'll see. We will definitely see. And other thing, and I'm glad you brought up Kyle Shanahan because he also coached RG3. And if you noticed, with RG3's rookie year, they did tailor the offense to his strengths, his rookie season.
You're right.
So
right,
he might be able.
Not only did they tailor RG3 to his strength, but the thing was is that RG3 did get hurt because he ran a lot. And I think the second year when they didn't do too well, they tried to admit him not to run so much so he won't get injured again.
Right.
But I think they're going to have to try to find a way where the quarterback don't run as much, only when I guess he got pieces to not a slide, because I guess that's what RG3 wasn't doing. He wasn't sliding, he was actually getting hit.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think Kyle Shanahan offense, they will be able to score with that offense. I believe Kyle Shanahan is going to turn that offense around and do pretty well. I think in the past they didn't have that many good coaches in Cleveland, which way they couldn't do too much.
Yep.
But I believe Kyle Shanahan is going to do pretty well with them in that offense.
Indeed. So really quick, one final question for you, sir. Looking at the whole first round and how it happened, what do you think the biggest surprise was for you? What ultimately shocked you?
I think two things that shocked me was the fact that it took a lot of teams passed up on Johnny Manziel before he got selected even to Cleveland. So I think Cleveland had picked two players before him.
Yep.
When Johnny Manziel was probably looking at the goal probably before Bortles to Jacksonville. One, Bortles going in the third place, which I really thought that all the quarterbacks were going to go in the second round because Jacksonville decided to check him to be their starter. So I thought that Jacksonville was going to get a receiver, real match on a linebacker for the defense.
Right.
They went to the quarterback. I think those are surprises with me was with that situation of the quarterback situation. And then Bridgewater going first in the 36, I think 32 or 32, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him going the last pick by Minnesota, I thought they was going to look at probably Bortles too. But by him getting picked, I think will help Minnesota out. I think one trying to figure out. Well, Khalil Mack going to the Raiders. I'm surprised that Atlanta didn't trade with Houston. But I thought Atlanta really wanted Clowney more than Houston did. And
Yeah.
Houston get the 6th pick, and then the 6th pick, Houston got Khalil Mack. But what the Texans had to offer was you want to trade with him, you have to give him 3 first-round picks.
Right.
Nobody wants to do so. That means definitely they wanted the guy that they picked. If nobody was going to offer better than that.
And I said from the beginning, if Houston asked for 3 first-round picks for that number 1 spot, and I said to myself, the only team that currently has that kind of ammunition is Cleveland, and they don't want Clowney, because they had 2 first-round picks, and potentially surrender a first-round pick the following year. But the thing is, Cleveland needs those 2, and they made the most of them. They got Justin Gilbert, and they ultimately traded around the first round, and they got Johnny Manziel, number 22. So they needed those picks.
You're right, that makes sense. And then on top of that, I don't think Cleveland wanted to give up that because he's a new head coach who's not going to put his job on the line for giving up 3 picks for this one player. I believe that he knows what he wants to do. Coach in Cleveland knows what he wants and what he can do, what he has.
Right.
And I believe that he has plans for those picks later on when it comes up.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And you said a job on the line. Yeah, with the way that Cleveland's job security, the job security in Cleveland is not very stable. So I'm like, being risky at this point is not a good idea.
And that's the reason why, if you look at it, Josh McDaniels, he wanted to be the head coach, but he took his name out of the hat because he knew that it's just like Oakland Raiders. Go head coach in 1 year and you're out of that.
Yep.
It's just you'll be out of the job within a year if you don't change the team around. And Oakland and Cleveland are the 2 teams that really it's hard to keep the job. And I really thought that Cleveland would be the team that did Matt's job because Kyle Shanahan was well with him.
Me too.
Which was probably change their offense around, but it didn't happen as they wanted. But I believe Manziel will probably put people in the seats, sell tickets, and he's a winner. And so I believe that will work just as fine, even if they didn't have Matt's job.
Oh yeah, and
like I said, the job is on the line. If you're gonna first as a coach, you're gonna put 3 draft picks on the line. You gotta look at that you want.
Right.
And hopefully they will have to be in last place. Again, to do this. But the fact is that with Cleveland Browns organization and they past history from coaches and general managers, it's not that good. You really can't get settled down too fast.
Right. Exactly. And we will meet Cleveland in Week 11 of the season, so it's definitely going to be an interesting.
I think that the Texans' schedule, man, is very tough, and I think that it's a good schedule for the coach that we have. I believe that each team has it's going to be a challenge for the Texans, but I'm looking for the Texans to be 10-6 this year for what we have. I mean, we may not have all the pieces together yet, but I'm thinking, but for what the type of coach that we have, I believe that we can at least be 10-6 that he can work these guys together to get it back on track.
Right. No, we will see.
What do you think about the linebacker situation? Looking at the fact that we have Brian Christian, he be back, and then Brooks Reed maybe switch to inside a middle linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
What about the depth of the linebacker core?
Well, at this point, we got Brooks Reed, who I say moved to inside linebacker. I'm on record. Whitney Merciless is still a stud as a pass rusher. I don't care what anyone says, but he still has something to prove. Brian Cushing will be back. He says he's healthy. And maybe we'll add more in the draft. We'll see. There's plenty of this draft is very deep and has a lot of talent, you know. But maybe. So at this point, I honestly don't know because I haven't really seen much. You know, I only know what I've seen from the voluntary mini camps, the draft so far, which we only addressed the defensive end issue, which is great. But
yeah, but not only defensive end, but also you can play linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is a 2-for-1 thing, you know. Having a defensive end that can play, let's say, like the Marcus Ware that can cover as well as pass rush, and that's pretty good for the defense to have. I just know that having some good depth is going to help those linebackers out because the injuries and with a good linebacking core, you know, it will help. Especially, I mean, I believe with Clowney being picked, it's going to help J.J. Watt out a lot. Because last year, I mean, the defensive line getting blocked and pass rush not getting in the back. For some reason, I mean, J.J. Watt can't do it by himself. With Clowney there, it's going to help out J.J. Watt as well as the secondary, which should see a big improvement on the defense.
Right. Absolutely, and we will. And Romeo Cornell will have a lot of fun putting all these guys in the right position. And knowing Romeo Cornell and his resume, he'll do just that. He will do just fine.
Right.
So let's see here. Anything else I can do for you today?
Well, I think that's about it. I'm anxious to look to see what the second they hold up for the draft, and then to go from there. Hopefully that with these 11 picks that they have, the next 10 players is going to fill up the hole that we need and be productive players for us to have a better season than we did last year. I believe that this team can go 10-2. I believe they can make the playoffs. It's possible. It's been done about a handful of teams in the past. And I don't see no reason why it can't be done again. The Texans, I mean, I just believe that the rebuilding era as it was in the past is no longer there. Right now, teams want to win. They want to win instantly. Due to the fact that the windows of winning is not always open. You know,
right.
It closed real fast for the Texans in 1 year, but you know, I believe with the right coach and the right staff, you can get these teams back together again.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it can be done. I think we can do Kansas City Chiefs. We can be the Kansas City Chiefs of this year. So.
And we also they have to coach there. They was still 14.
And they got Andrew Luck.
They fired the head coach. They fired the general manager. They fired the vice president. The next year they got Andrew Luck, and they came from 2-14 to 11-5 or 26, and went to the first round themselves.
Yeah.
Even with the 49ers with Jim Harbaugh, when Mike Singletary was fired, Harbaugh came in, the team's in the NFC Championship every year. They've been winning.
Right.
I mean, it can be done with the right staff, right coach, right players. It can be done, and they don't have to take a lot. Even Pete Carroll, man. I mean, I'm looking at these teams that have done it, and then when they do it, you know, they don't just try to build and have a better record. They actually try to do it within 1 year and then wait a few years down the line where there's a lot of excuses for why they couldn't do it.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to the rest of the draft and see how they go.
Yep, and
my thing was what do you think of the Texans do draft Derek Carr? What do you think about that? Don't you think kind of ironic how they got the brother of the first quarterback who started the team, and do you think they're going to be some type of intention knowing that they kicked this butt to the curb and now they got his butt up there and to see what he would do? What do you think about that situation?
Well, to answer the question about Derek Carr, you know, I'm reading a quote here from Bill O'Brien. It says here, David says, quote, David Carr, his older brother, won't factor into our Derek Carr decision. So I'm taking Bill O'Brien's word on that, and I believe it because Derek Carr is a different guy. He's completely different than his brother on film. And so if we get him, I'll take him.
I agree with what you said about what Bill O'Brien and what he thinks, because Bill O'Brien wasn't here. I wonder how would Derek Carr feel about it, as well as how he feel about playing for a team where his brother couldn't finish off his career. But not the fact that going that this is a business, and that the fact that he's not going to retire and stay with the same team as Jackson is most likely. I same team that his brother played on, which didn't have a great career here, and then also knowing that Manziel didn't come here, what do you think about him not being able to play in the team that he wants to play with, and even though he felt like this is his hometown team?
Well, Derek Carr has been on record saying he actually would not mind playing for Houston. He loves the city. The owner is a great guy. He was on that stage 12 years ago when David was drafted, so he would not mind.
You're a base graduate, right?
Say what?
You're a base graduate, right?
U of H?
Yeah, did you go to U of H?
No, he went to Fresno State.
No, I said did you go to U of H?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, I went to University of Houston too, so I graduated in 05. But what I was saying is, did Carr's brother play at U of H at a point?
No, he played, no, David Carr played at Fresno State.
Well, I know, but did he have a younger brother that played, that was here in Houston?
No. He only has one younger. There's only two Carrs in the family, David and Derek.
Okay. Well, it must have been in high school when he played here, because I know when his family moved out here when he was drafted out of Texas, and then they moved back to California when Carr was let go. Oh,
I see. See, I don't know all about that. I haven't gone back and looked at that. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was thinking too about why would Manziel still not being drafted? What do you think? How do you think Manziel feel about not being selected by the Texans?
Well, he's obviously shocked. I'm sure he didn't expect to be drafted so late. But I mean.
Yeah, they said his parents didn't want him to play at home. They wanted to play abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand where they're coming from, because Vince Young wants to play for the Texans since he got out. But we know that as today's in the NFL and NBA and whatever, it's a business. And now it's time that everybody's going to go home and play for their hometown. A lot of times it can be a dream, I believe, to play for your hometown, but most times it can be a nightmare too, knowing that if you're not winning or producing, they can cut their league as well. I mean, we see what happened with LeBron James, he left Cleveland, we see what happened, with a lot of players on the Texans who was let go. And I think playing abroad could be better, than playing at home, and then probably retiring at home could be, which at least finish your career at home, could be probably end with a better career other than starting at home.
Sure. We will. I understand, and yeah, you have all our valid points, and so we'll see if it's a factor at all. I mean, we'll see if he's got we'll see if he's got extra fire when he faces the Texans in Week 11. So you can bet the media's going to be on top of that story like crazy.
Yeah, I've been chatting with Cleveland Browns fans, about their pick, and I'm glad to see Cleveland with good picks and see them doing better, because they've been a team that's been down for a long time since they created the new Cleveland Browns, and they haven't really had a really good year since they released it. But to see them to come up, and become better, I would like to see that with their team. I think Manziel will bring that to that team that the old Cleveland Browns had, in Cleveland.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. We will definitely see. It's gonna be It's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a long season.
One more thing.
Sure.
With the quarterbacks that we have with Fitzpatrick and who we draft,
Mm-hmm.
and if they actually trade for Ryan Mallett, and if they don't, if they may end up getting two quarterbacks out of that, may or may not. Looking at who you think will be starting and backing up, do you feel Ryan Fitzpatrick is being the starter because he's a veteran? Well, we know that the rookie is not going to start, so if they get Mallett, would it be between Mallett and Fitzpatrick? Or
Probably.
if they keep teaming or whatever, would teams still have an opportunity to start past Fitzpatrick? Even though this is, they paying Fitzpatrick more than they are the other quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I think whatever veteran, whether it's Fitzpatrick, is going to get the job, because now of course the obvious thing about Fitzpatrick that everyone slanders him for, rightfully so, is he throws interceptions. But then again, look at the teams he was on.
Well, that's my biggest thing with why they. My question is why Fitzpatrick. I understand the fact that they said it because he's able to smart from Harvard and he keeps younger quarterbacks. But my question is why would he keep up 5 teams? Why 5 teams couldn't keep him? Start with the Rams and the Bengals and the Bills and the Titans and now the Texans, and don't look like it's going to be here too long because they don't. To someone there's a veteran to fill in until they find their franchise quarterback. What's wrong with Fitzpatrick? Why you can't stay on one team? I'm sure the last coaches let go because they knew when they saw something different they want. But what is it they don't see him to keep them as a franchise quarterback?
I wouldn't go so far as to say he's a franchise guy. I mean, he's been in the league for so. I don't think he's been brought to be the franchise guy. No way. No way. But, I've heard the term, he's probably like a bridge quarterback. He's going to be the guy to start while we groom our younger guys. I say younger because you have to include Case if we keep TJ and whoever we draft. And who knows, maybe if we end up in a position next year to take another quarterback next year, who knows? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but my thing, if they don't have confidence in the quarterback they draft right now to be a future quarterback, how is he gonna, mentor someone they don't even have confidence may be here too long? I mean, the next year they could go pick a big time quarterback too, and that could be the one. And Pittsburgh, we ain't be here to even mentor him.
Well, I wouldn't. I don't. If they pick somebody, I don't think it's because they don't believe in him. I think the reason they do pick him is because they do trust him, that they can learn from the people in the locker room, and a couple of years down the road, maybe he might be a starter. Who knows? He might be a franchise guy in a couple of years. It's not necessarily like we draft him and we don't play him because we don't have confidence. It's because he's not ready yet. It's because he's not ready to be in that position at the moment. He might be thinking similar to what Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien were thinking when they drafted Ryan Mallett in the 3rd round. They were thinking, when Tom Brady is finally ready to hang it up, we can hand the keys over to him. That kind of perspective. So, like I said, we don't know. We're just speculating. So.
You're right. I was thinking with Case Keenum being that, you got a guy right there, who still got a chance to show what he can do. He may not need a lot of mentoring because he's already got some experience in playing.
Yeah, well, again, he's another one of those guys that he can always learn more from a guy with Bill O'Brien's experiences and resume. So we will see what happens down the road. We'll see what happens down the road. I believe in Bill O'Brien. I think he'll make the right decision.
Okay. All right.
So let's see here. So is there anything else?
Well, that's about it.
All right. Well, before it gets, let me see here. What's my time here? I got 40. Before it gets too long, I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue on, and then, matter of fact, do you want to stay on? Can I mute you and then just stay on and then wait until I talk about the rest of the draft?
Yeah, I'll tell it to you, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna mute you for a bit, and then I'm gonna talk about the rest of the first round, and then we'll get to my final topic for the day. Is that all right?
All right, that'd be cool.
All right, thank you.
All right.
So 1 second here. All right, guys. So while he's on mute, I'm gonna turn the camera back on, and I'm gonna go through the rest of the first round really quick, guys, because I'm at 40 minutes, and I'm at 40 minutes. So I'm trying to watch my time here. So of course the Texans got Clowney. No big surprise here. Second round, the St. Louis Rams. Everyone said Greg Robinson, including me. They got him. Number 3, Jacksonville was the biggest shock, especially in the room that I was in. Like, everyone went, oh, when it came to this. The Jacksonville picked the Florida kid, Blake Bortles. I had Blake Bortles as a second round guy, but everyone was saying 8 to Minnesota, maybe Cleveland. But everyone said the earliest he could go. Yeah, some people were saying he might be the number 1 overall pick by the Texans, which I didn't believe it. I didn't believe he was a number 1 overall pick. But Jacksonville got him. Wow. I didn't see that coming. Now, number 4, Cleveland was in the spot, but this is where we saw our first trade of the draft. Cleveland got a call from Buffalo, and Buffalo traded up to get that spot, and the Browns ended up getting the number 9 spot. So with that 4th pick, the Bills got Sammy Watkins. The Jaguars passed up on Sammy Watkins and Khalil Mack. They didn't take him, and that's who the Oakland Raiders got at number 5, Khalil Mack. And then Atlanta Falcons, who everyone said was trying to get to that number 1 spot to get Clowney, they decided to address their offensive line issues with Jake Matthews, the offensive tackle from A&M. So that's the first Aggie off the board. Note, Buccaneers, their need was wide receiver. I ultimately said Mike Evans would probably a good fit here. Lo and behold, they got him. That's the second Aggie off the board. All right, so number 8. The Vikings had this pick, but we saw another trade. The Browns had 9, and the Vikings had 8. Well, they swapped. And with that 8th pick, they got Justin Gilbert, a cornerback. So they got Joe Hayden on one side, and they got Justin Gilbert on the other side. So definitely up their defense. We'll see what kind of an impact Justin Gilbert makes on the defensive side of the ball next season. So the Vikings traded down to that traded the 8th to 9th, and with that 9th spot, the Vikings ended up getting Anthony Barr. Mike Zimmer, a defensive-minded guy, loves the fact that he is raw in terms of skill set, and he thinks he can work with that. So at number 10. Eric Ebron taken by the tight ends. They got another target for Matthew Stafford and another blocker for Reggie Bush. So Johnny Manziel fell out of the top 10. Number 11, they apparently are trusting Jake Locker. They decided to help him out in terms of protection. So they got Taylor Lewan from Michigan. The Giants, they lost Key Nix. Their offensive line was atrocious. They decided to address the wide receiver, the loss of Akeem Nix, and they got another guy with huge hands, Odell Beckham Jr. Very solid pick. 13, the Rams. Some people thought Johnny was going to go here. Johnny Manziel was going to go here. They decided to amp up the side of their defense. They got Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle in this class, I must say. The Bears, who needed, I think, like a middle linebacker and some help in secondary, decided to address secondary by drafting Kyle Fuller. Very physical corner from Virginia Tech. Let me see here. At number 15, the Steelers, their defense is getting older. They decided to address that by getting younger in that, so they drafted Ryan Shazier, an outside linebacker from they decided to address it by drafting Ryan Shazier out of Ohio State. The Cowboys, everyone had their eyes on the Cowboys. They thought they were going to get Johnny Manziel. Nope. They passed him up. They got Zach Martin, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame. More protection for Romo. The Ravens decided to go inside linebacker. They got the best inside linebacker in this class, C.J. Mosley from Alabama. The Jets, another defensive-minded head coach, decided to go, rather than go wide receiver to give Michael Vick and Geno Smith another target. They got the free safety from Louisville, Calvin Pryor. So first Cardinal off the board before Teddy Bridgewater. The Dolphins had that whole thing going on with Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin. They decided to address offensive line with the tackle from University of Tennessee, Jawan James. So good for them. All right, so here we get another trade. At this point, we had the Cardinals, and everyone thought the Cardinals were going to draft the quarterback of the future since Carson Palmer's not getting any younger. But the Saints decided to swap places with the Cardinals. So the Saints got the 20th pick in exchange. So the Cardinals got – so the Saints, who were 27, swapped with the Cardinals. So now Saints at 20, Cardinals at 27. So with that 20th pick, they decided to give Drew Brees another weapon. Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver from Oregon State, the fastest wide receiver in the draft. All right, so the Packers, they've had defensive struggles since that undefeated season, probably before then. They decided to go with the other clown with the other laughing stock of this draft, Clinton Dix, the free safety from Bama. At 22, this was the Eagles, but at this spot, the Browns, who were sitting at 26, traded spots with the Eagles there. They traded up to that 22nd spot, and this is where they got Johnny Manziel. So Johnny Manziel is now a Cleveland Brown. So, as you've seen, the Kansas City Chiefs decided to address defense. They drafted D Ford out of Auburn. Some people had a second-round grade on him. To each his own. Let's see, here we go. The Bengals, they decided to address their secondary by drafting Darqueze Dennard, physical corner out of 5'11" corner out of Michigan State. The Chargers did the same thing. They addressed their secondary by drafting probably the most fluid corner I've ever seen in this draft. Short, at 5'9", 189. But very fluid, can change direction fast, can tackle really well, and is not afraid to hit somebody. Jason Verrett, cornerback from TCU. I think he's going to be very, very impactful. So, the Eagles. Their defense is obviously their weakness. Now, some people thought they were going to get another offensive weapon, but I made the case to saying that this class is so deep in offensive talent. They don't need to spend a first-round pick on it. They decided to go defense with this pick. They got defensive end Marcus Smith from Louisville. So that's the second Cardinal before Teddy Bridgewater. And here's the Cardinals. This is where some people thought a quarterback was going to be drafted here in the first round. They decided to go to address their secondary. They got Deion Buchanan from Washington State, strong safety. The Carolina Panthers, they got Cam. They need a weapon. Steve Smith left, so they need another number one target. They drafted Kelvin Benjamin from Florida State, a very a big target in the red zone. Could be a number one receiver. Struggled early in his career in college, but ultimately got better with each year. He'll be just fine in there, despite the defensive mindset with Ron Rivera. But I've always said that defensive-minded coaches can really help the offensive player because they can help understand each other. If that makes any sense. The Patriots, you never know what the Patriots are going to do. You never know. But they decided to address the inside of their defensive line by getting Dominic Easley, a defensive tackle from Florida. The 49ers addressed their secondary by drafting the ball hawk Jimmy Ward from Northern Illinois. The one when I watch him on tape, he's a ball hawk. He can locate the football, and he's not afraid to hit anybody. The Denver Broncos decided to address their secondary by drafting Bradley Roby out of cornerback. He has a history of getting in trouble. Hopefully he'll get that figured out. And he'll definitely be a big factor considering that I think Champ Bailey's no longer there. All right. So now we get to the 32nd pick. And with the 32nd pick, this is, of course, where the Super Bowl champion Seahawks would be, right? Well, this is where we saw... Okay, before we get to the pick, just really quick. Everyone at the draft party I was saying... was saying this. They were saying, okay, Derek Carr is still on the board. Jimmy Garoppolo still in the green room waiting. You got Teddy Bridgewater who's still there. Hint, hint. You had all of these top quarterbacks still available. You had Garoppolo, McCarron, Carr, all of these guys still on the board. Lo and behold, Minnesota decided to trade back in the first round. And they got the 32nd pick, and they got their quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. So Teddy Bridgewater ended up going up, ended going in the first round after all. And so if you think about this, the one thing I take away from this is the top three that everyone was saying: Bridgewater, Bortles, Manziel, all first round picks. So they got one part right. So they got one part of the draft right. Those three guys were taken in the first round. How about that? The top three everyone was talking about were first round picks. That's crazy. So, like I said, the Blake Bortles pick at Jacksonville, that surprised a lot of people. I'm surprised he was taken that high. See, I thought Minnesota was going to trade back. I thought if Jacksonville went to Sammy Watkins at 3, I thought if the Vikings didn't take him with either 8 or 9, I thought they were going to trade back to get him. That's what I thought. But Jacksonville passed up on Mac and Sammy Watkins, and they decided to go with a quarterback from Florida, Central Florida. Wow. So that leaves us with the question of who are we going to take at the top of the second round, which starts in about 30 minutes. And let's bring my caller back to discuss this. On the call. So with all that being said, you got Derek Carr still on the board, which I wouldn't mind. McCarron, Mettenberger, Murray, and Garoppolo. Got so many. You got a lot of quarterback prospects still available. If you had to pick one for the 33rd pick, if we're going quarterback now, if you had to take a quarterback here with the 33rd overall pick, who you taking?
Well, if I had to pick a quarterback, I feel more comfortable with picking Derek Carr. More than what he has done with Fresno and his abilities right now as a quarterback. I would have thought of McCarron, but even though he's with a good team, a good program, a college program, it don't seem like too many teams will want to pick him, out of all the quarterbacks. So I think I feel more comfortable with Derek Carr than being the pick. But with Bill O'Brien, I'm not sure if he's looking at that or he's more comfortable with what's the third guy you named? Was he out of Penn State?
You got Carr,
Mettenberger,
Garoppolo. Let's see who else.
Is he out of Penn State?
No, Mettenberger's from LSU, and Garoppolo is from Eastern Illinois. Same school where Tony Romo went to school with. Okay. Now I can only imagine the media saying, "Houston drafts another Carr."
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about a story.
I mean, I have to look at the fact that compared to looking at what he's done.
Sure.
Was it really like 50,000 yards in a college career?
Yeah. I wouldn't not 50,000, somewhere around I think like 12,000.
12,000, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, 50 touchdowns?
Yeah, over 50 touchdowns. He was very productive. I'm not gonna.
He did very good, as a quarterback. I see him, being drafted by the Texans. The question is, he seems like being a franchise quarterback for the Texans.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, we will definitely see. If you had to, let's say you're not drafting a quarterback. If you had to pick any other player in that position, is there one player that comes to mind with that 33rd pick, other than a quarterback?
Well, with that 34th pick, I don't know what player that comes to mind as the position I'm thinking of, but I'm thinking they should go with that captain position, the one that we have weak problems with. I think getting a strong offensive lineman is going to be needed in order for blocking, for run blocking, pass blocking. That's what they was hurting last year. So was that side? I forgot what side. I think it's the left side or right side.
Right.
I see them getting a tackle, offensive tackle, if they don't get a quarterback. Because it's real needed. I think we need the best tackle that we can get.
All right.
Because I think we were struggling in that tackle position with Butler and the other guy. I think Newton, I believe. I still hated they had to let go of Eric Winston.
Yeah.
Was really good, and I hated that we had to let go of Vontae Leach.
Sure.
It was expensive. But those two had kept the blocking really good, and when they was left, they hurt our blocking, hurt the blocking really bad.
Right.
So I see them getting off of tackles, but I'm not familiar with the best tackles out there right now, since the top two tackles already been taken by Atlanta and St. Louis.
Sure. Well, I got a couple names here for you. We got a couple of second-round linemen. We could go either, I say, Kareem Martin out of North Carolina. You got a tackle from LSU named Eagle Ferguson. He's pretty solid. And, of course, you have Oregon State, Scott Crichton, I believe his name is. I believe is how you pronounce his name. So those guys are pretty decent. I'm sorry. Scott Crichton is a defensive end. I'm sorry. But LSU tackle. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong list. I'm sorry. These are all defensive linemen. I'm sorry. But I guess I don't have a list of offensive linemen. I'm sorry. But I would say, if not offensive linemen, I say this is actually the list I was saying. I say address the nose tackle position. The defensive tackle spot. You got.
I agree. The nose tackle we need a good nose tackle, someone that's going to help those linebackers out.
Sure.
Like Casey Hampton type of linebacker, the type of nose tackle, and that nose tackle that played for Baltimore and Ghana. We need somebody that's like those two guys, somebody that's really good. But I don't know about the two that the Texans already got. They got from Kansas City, Moore, I believe, and they got from the coast. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
what kind of tackles they are, 'cause I never seen them play. But we do need a good nose tackle on that line to help the linebackers and the cause that hold up for the running game and stuff. But you're right. I think the defensive lineman is just as good as well as the offensive lineman.
Yeah, absolutely.
But since we only picked one player so far, I believe that with the next 10 picks, if we can get some good, solid linemen on both sides at the beginning of the draft, I think by addressing that, it's gonna help a lot when it comes to blocking for the running game and the offensive and the quarterback, as well as a defensive line that's gonna hold the run down, as well as help the linebackers, with the coverage or whatever what they need to do, however they develop on the defense.
Right.
If we can get some solid ones at the beginning, that'd be a lot helpful, and then at the end we just look at more pass rushes or whatever. Do you think we're gonna put a running back out of this draft?
Sure, I believe it. I do. I do believe that we are going to get a running back at some point. I'm even seeing somebody posted here on my Twitter page. We might even, some people might say we might go Carlos Hyde with the 33rd pick. The running back out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would take him that high. I think he is a second-round pick, but I don't know if the Texans should address running back then, because you got guys like Bishop Sankey. You got this other guy from Arizona State. His name's Kareem Martin, I think. Or is that? I'm sorry.
Not one running back that's been drafted yet.
Nope.
And so when they get to running back, there's going to be some good ones out there. There's always a good running back somewhere.
Right.
But I'm not really sold on Andre Brown as a backer. I haven't seen him play much. Even though he was with the Giants.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of him play, but I think he was injured quite a bit. But I really think they're going to have some depth on the running game, because I think last year Duncan Grimes did pretty good at the end of the season. I don't know if you remember watching him or not, but he was a guy that was drafted by the Texans a year ago.
Yeah.
And then he got let go of the Jets enough, but the Texans got him right back. The guy played pretty good at the end of the season last year, and I really think he deserves a try at third string, as well as still get another backup, even though they signed Andre Brown. But I think they have a good chance of getting a good running back, knowing that there has not been any running back selected right now.
Right.
But I believe that our linemen, offensive defensive linemen, should be looked at closer and more. Knowing the fact that without a line, you have no foundation.
Absolutely, I agree, and even Louis Nix III, the defensive lineman from Notre Dame, is still on the board, so that could be an option for the 33rd pick. Plenty of talent to go, and we have plenty of picks. I'm looking at our board. Let me pull up my board. We got this 33rd overall pick. And we could still trade it to get more. We have. Let me see here. Let me pull it up really fast. We got the 65th pick in the 3rd round, 2 picks in the 4th, 3 picks in the 6th. We got a compensatory, which is a compensatory that can't be traded, and 2 7th rounders. So we have plenty of picks to go get what we need to fill up the holes we need. So, including quarterback.
Do you see the Texans picking up any linebackers? I mean, I'm not linebacker. I'm sorry, but any cornerback.
Yeah, I think we are going to draft somebody. I think we are going to draft a back at some point.
I mean, cornerback.
Cornerback. I'm sorry.
Defensive back. Yeah, defensive back.
Defensive backs? Yeah, I think we can. I think we will.
Yeah.
I think we will.
We don't have Bryce McKinney no more, but he didn't do too well when he played last year.
Right.
He got burned a lot. Jackson, man, I just don't know about Kareem Jackson, man. He has so many penalties on him at the wrong time. And I don't know. Hopefully, this will be a better year, because I know that this contract stuff that they have not re-signed him yet. I'm not really sure.
Right.
But I do hope they get some better backs. You gotta look at this. Seattle got like big, tall cornerbacks.
Oh yeah.
250, 230, 235. I mean, we got 5'15", 5'9", 180 pounds. When you got these guys going against receivers at 6 or something, how often are they gonna be able to cover him man to man or whatever? I mean, these Seattle cornerbacks are rough. I mean, they got the height and the size. I mean, when we look at something like cornerbacks that way, I feel that they're even better than secondary having a height and size like Seattle cornerbacks.
Yeah, and when you have cornerbacks that have the size that guys like Richard Sherman, Camp Chancellor, and all those guys have, you can leave them one-on-one in man coverage. But when you have, like you say, maybe even if you have a guy like Jason Verrett, a 5'9" corner in coverage, who is a reliable tackler, he's got good ball skills, but you still got to help him. You cannot always leave him on an island, because eventually size does matter when it comes to matchups.
Right.
These team sports.
I was just imagining if you put a 5'10" guy, over somebody about the height of Calvin Johnson.
Oh boy.
I mean, even though we beat Detroit a year ago in Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the main guys. They had to try to find somebody to pass against.
Right.
If they had a good explosive offense, they would have thrown this guy all day in probably. Because, I mean, looking at what Indianapolis did to our secondary with T.Y. Hilton himself with speed.
Oh,
I mean, imagine with Calvin Johnson with his height and just out jump from 5'10" and still catch that ball, no matter how much it comes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Eventually, we will get a corner somewhere. I believe we will. Now, who, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the rest of the cornerback class. I've only looked at guys like, Kyle Fuller, Darqueze Dennard, Justin Gilbert. Those are the top three that I've looked at. I don't know what other corners are in this class. Whoever we get, I'll definitely take a look at them and see what happens. And the draft starts in about 20 minutes. So.
Oh, 20 minutes. Okay. What about the fullback? Do we have a fullback that's Greg Jones returning for the Texans, or they looked at someone else?
I think his contract expired, so we're gonna have to We're gonna have to address the fullback situation some other way. And so I don't know if we're gonna draft the fullback. If anything, we might get him as get one as an undrafted free agent, or get one in free agent, sign one, or sign one in free agents, sign a free agent.
Yeah.
But I look at Bill O'Brien's offense. He doesn't really use a fullback too much in his offense.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well, it's probably not a need to have one. I mean, is his offense more of a passing offense more than run, or 50-50 or balance?
His offense is more, from what I've studied him at Penn State, he uses a lot of twin tight end formations, just like they did in New England. And the quarterback makes all the decisions at the line. He can audible to whatever he sees. Now, in terms of run-pass balance, it's pretty evenly matched. It's pretty even, and they use their players. They use the players in the right way. So if you have a speed guy, you put him in for a certain situation. If he's a power guy, you let him pound it. If they're trying to kill clock, they put in a big power guy. They use whatever they can they do whatever they can based on the team that they're playing and the situation that they are in. So it's the one thing I'm really looking forward to. This offense is going to be a lot of it's going to look different every week. So I'm really excited to see that.
Do you think we got the best tight ends to use in our system with Derek Lamb and Ryan Griffin?
The best, I wouldn't go so far as to say is the best, but are they capable of doing it? Yes. I like Garrett Graham. Yeah.
Ryan Griffin, this is his second year, going to his second year.
Right.
Out of UConn.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that our last three tight ends that we had were really good tight ends with Bill Drees and Owen Daniels and James Casey, who's now with, Bill Drees with the Broncos. I think he may be retired since he got injury problem.
Right.
And then you got James Casey with the Eagles and Owen Daniels with the Ravens. I really thought those were the best three tight ends that we had since Billy Miller.
Right.
Was there now. But on the part of the Texas franchise. I just wonder if we have the tight ends like Gronkowski and Hernandez had when they were in New England.
Well, I don't think we have guys with that kind of freakish athleticism. I don't think, but I think Garrett Graham, Ryan Griffin, Philip Supernaw, and there was one guy that we signed from Jacksonville. Name doesn't come to mind, but I think I've seen Ryan Griffin both play. I think they can do it. I think those two will be our starting tight ends. So in our twin tight end sets, I think those. Who knows? Maybe we might put Garrett Graham or one of those guys as a fullback in certain situations.
Yeah, that was more like the Owen Daniels was based on the same college program.
Right.
And with Wisconsin, and they got the same size. So I think Garrett. I like Graham. I just hated that Owen Daniels was no longer there because now that he's with the Ravens, with the there. So we have a good tight end core as New England strength on New England with the tight end core.
Yeah. No. I don't think we even have as good a. I don't think they're that good, but I think they are capable of being in the offense. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In terms of talent, you can't compare Garrett Graham and Ryan Griffin to guys like Rob Gronkowski. I mean, Rob Gronkowski is just a freak of an athlete.
Yeah, you're right. You're gonna see him 2 minutes fighting like that all the time.
Right.
But I know. What do you think about the offensive style you want with the receivers? Is it gonna be like tight ends, 2 receivers?
Yeah, it's right. Right. It's mainly going to be 2 tight ends in the set with 2 wide receivers on the opposite side, and occasionally we'll run what's it called? We'll run a I can't think of the set name, but we will run occasions where we'll spread the field out with 3 receivers and 1 tight end. So.
And that third receiver is Martin or Devon Posey?
I think it'll be DeVere. I think it'll be either one of those two, and I think they'll both share the role based on the situation and based on mismatches. It'll all depend on mismatches, because that's what a guy like Bill O'Brien loves to do. He loves to exploit mismatches, and he'll find ways to make it happen.
Okay. Do you see our quarterback with Ryan Fitzpatrick or whoever that's starting being a play game manager or someone that can put up some yards with 3,000-4,000 yards in a season?
You see, I don't think game manager's a bad thing. Now, if I had to pick one, see, I don't mind if my quarterback's a game manager. Now, if he has to throw for 400 yards to 500 yards to do it, Bill O'Brien will ask him to do it. And they're all capable of doing it. The guys that we have on the roster now, they are capable of doing it. Heck, even Matt Shaw put up 500 yards in one game. But
yeah, Matt Shaw, he can put up the numbers, and I think that's what's keeping them, in the league, that he can put up the numbers. What about a running game? Do you think? Are they supposed to? Aaron Fox going to be sharing the ball with another running back at 20 carries a foot back, or is it going to be a zone type of running game?
Let's see. With the offensive line we have, all they know is how to do zone run. They haven't really been in a man-blocking scheme for a while. So, Arian Foster, I think we're going to find a way to take the load off of Arian Foster. So he will get help. It's not going to be all on his shoulders. And excuse me. So basically, he's not going to be carrying the ball 30 times. That's not going to happen. Now, not in this offense. Not in this offense.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I see them. That's why I'm thinking that another running back they may draft to come in and be an explosive backfield again. Now that Mentata's gone, they have to find a good replacement for him to keep up the good running game. And hope Aaron Foster stay healthy for the year.
Absolutely, and that's why I think we're going to take the load off him so he can stay healthy.
Well, I do think that knowing that there's a new coach, new offensive scheme, they have to take a pay cut down the road, with the money they pay him just to make room for other, positions or people that need to pay. So as we know, there's a Watt contract is coming up again.
Sure.
After this year, I think they get the fifth option on his contract, and they're going to have to make room to pay him. And I'm sure that he's going to want as much as Mario Williams is, knowing that how J.J. Watt has been doing since he's been here. He'll play on that level with Mario Williams.
Sure. Well, I'm sure he won't mind. Arian Foster's a humble guy. I'm sure he's not going to mind doing all that. So let's see. What's my time? Let me check my time. I'm at an hour and 16, and the draft starts in 13 minutes. Is there anything else I can you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
That's about it. That's about it. Just waiting for the rest of the draft to come through.
All right. So the second and third round starts in about 13 minutes. So really quick, thanks for calling. I'm going to wrap this episode up, guys. So to you, Raz, thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
No problem. Hope to get back on again next week.
Yeah, sure. And hey, if you want to be part of the Google Hangout, so log on to your Google Plus account and look for me there. I'll definitely be sure to find ways to get you on the panel. So I'm trying to work different things out so that I can have people on the panel and and call in the show. I'm trying to do different things. So check your Google Plus account. Check your Google Plus account whenever you can, and we'll organize it from there. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Bye.
Awesome. So, guys, the second round starts. I went a little longer than expected. Let me turn my camera on. Well, that discussion went longer than I expected. I do apologize, but it's gonna be interesting to see what the Texans do. The Texans are now on the clock, so I believe the Texans I think they're now on the clock. If I'm seeing this right, I had the NFL. Texans are on the clock. So really quick, guys, I'm gonna wrap up this episode. One thing you'll notice is you will not see a different animation. That's because I'm doing Google Hangouts. That's because I'm not using the software. And so I'm just going to wrap it up just like this, guys. This is the last thing you're going to see. So let me get to my ending. Really, let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up on this video. I'd appreciate it very much. In the comment section, tell me what you think of the first round and what do you think we're going to do late in the second and third? Starting in 10 minutes. You think we're taking a quarterback? You think we're trading it? You think get another player? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you guys. For more Houston Texans coverage, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Shout out to those that already have. Really appreciate it. Again, I'll be here covering all the latest regarding your Houston Texans from off-season to preseason, regular season to postseason, hopefully. Also, please be sure to check out and follow the Bulls on Parade Talk podcast on TalkShoe.com. Full link to that podcast will be in the description below the video. To those watching, to those listening, just like Roz, full link to this video will be on the episode's info section. Everyone's more than welcome to call the show during the live recording, just like he did. Voice their thoughts and opinions. I'll definitely give them the floor so you can do just that. Always up for a good discussion, just like we had today. Speaking of good discussions, check out my website, bullsonparadetalk.blogspot.com. I'm working on getting a domain name. That's all in the works. You'll not only get access to my videos, including this one, but additional articles regarding the Texans as well as other related topics. You can go ahead and Go ahead and go to the website and subscribe to get to join the discussion. You'll see all my posts as they're published, and you can also see them on my Twitter page. And speaking of that, if you need to reach out to me for whatever reason, go ahead and do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls Parade Talk. You can find me on Facebook. Just search Bulls on Parade Talk, and also you can always find me here on this YouTube channel, and as well as my website, bullsonparadetalk.blogspot.com. Already some good stuff on there. Looking forward to the season. And as a final note, guys, if you've seen the format of the video looks different than it has in the past. I am experimenting with this new camera and the software. I'm trying to see if I can do things a little different, where I can have this kind of format for panel discussions once I have a panel of commentators here with me, and that's what I'm working on. So if you want to be a part of the panel, let me know. I'll set you up. So I think I might be going back to pre-recorded video recordings, live recorded podcast. Podcasts will always be recorded live, but the video recordings will be posted later. I think I might be going back to that for certain episodes based on the topics. In all the details, I'll release all those details once I finalize them on Twitter. So go on Twitter, go to my website, all that will be on there. All the details for future videos will be there. So with that, guys, as always, this is your host Joshua Sines saying so long. See you next time. Go Texans. We got Clowney. Let's get a quarterback.